fix our eyes on you. We turn our gaze to you, God. 'Cause nothing like your presence. There's nothing like your presence. There's nothing like your presence. So we fix our eyes on you. Fix our eyes on you. There's nothing like your presence. No, there's nothing like your presence. Nothing like your presence. Nobody like you. None beside you.
the bow and bends the spear and tells the wars to cease. Almighty One of Israel, you faith in God who burns the chariots with fire. Lord of hosts, you're with us in the fire, with us as a shelter, with us in the storm. You will lead us through the fiercest battle. Oh, where else would we go with the Lord of hosts? God of Jacob, fierce and great, you lift your voice to speak. Earth it bows and all the mountains move into the sea. Lord, you know the hearts of men, and still you let them live. Oh God, who makes the mountains melt, come wrestle us and win. God who makes the mountains melt, come wrestle us and win. Lord of hosts, you're with us in the fire, with us as a shelter, with us in the storm. You will lead us through the fiercest battle. Oh, where else would we go with the Lord of The oceans roar, you are the Lord of all, one who calms the wind and waves and makes my heart be still. The earth gives way, the mountains move into the sea, the nations rage. I know my God is in control. The oceans roar, you are the Lord of all, the one who calms the winds and waves, makes my heart be still. The earth gives way, the mountains move into the sea, the nations rage. But I know my God, He's in control. Lord of hosts, you're with us in the fire, with us as a shelter, with us. You will lead us through the fiercest battle. Oh, shall be blessed from day to day. He'll be your rest. May the Lord bless and keep you. May His grace and His face shine upon you. May the Lord lift up His countenance upon you and give you peace and give you peace.
we just thank you for that promise that you will be our peace. You'll be our rest. We come tonight with thanksgiving in our hearts for what you've done in the earth, what you've done for us, what you've done for your creation. And we are glad tonight. And as the psalmist said, I was glad when they said to me, let us go to the house of the Lord. Our feet are standing within your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem that was built as a city that is compact together, to which the tribes go up, even the tribes of the Lord, an ordinance for Israel, to give thanks to the name of the Lord. For their thrones were set for judgment, their thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May they prosper who love you. May peace be within your walls and prosperity within your palaces. For the sake of my brothers and my friends, I will now say, my peace be within you. For the sake of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek your good. I love it that he says we'll prosper when we love Israel, we love the Lord. And Lord, I just speak that prosperity over our lives tonight. Every individual that's here, everybody that's watching on the stream, everybody's watching this recording. And we say you're blessed when you bless the things that the Lord loves. And we just speak that over us tonight. And we set this meeting apart as a time to honor what you honor and to speak what you speak. And we give you thanks for that right now. In your name we pray. Everybody say amen. I look at your neighbor and say, I'm so glad you get to see me tonight. Just tell them, I'm glad you get to see me. Amen. You may be seated. Sure. We got a quick announcement.
All right. Youth, we're going to be in here tonight, but we haven't done a great job. I haven't done a great job of promoting this, but we're going to go to one day of the Together Conference on Saturday, this Saturday. One day only. We're going to do it'll be a long day, but it's going to be real fun. It's kind of a mixture of a prayer and a concert. So they got Jesus Culture, they got Hillsong, they got lots of speakers from anywhere from Todd White to Ravi Zacharias, and they got Lecrae, Tadashi, and a bunch of people like that. So the cost is $35 per kid. So come and see me after, or let me know if you're interested in trying to get a loose head count. Thanks.
Okay. What time y'all leaving? 6 in the morning. They leave Saturday. How exciting. All right. Well, we want to get into our meeting tonight, and we're so thankful for this opportunity to have somebody from the Christians for the communities within Judea and Samaria, Friends of Israel Israeli communities. And I met Shmuel. He just came by, and we talked for, I don't know how many, couple hours, didn't it? And we just had a great time talking about what's going on in the land. And some of you have been on our trips. You know, we've taken you into the West Bank and met some of the communities. And the person he works with, Sandra Boris, we met her, and we went into the community. I remember, Kevin, you wore the helmet. Remember, we got your picture there, and we went in there and had a good time. And just kind of learn what it's like to live in an area where you have to have a secured city in the midst of the West Bank, now what they call the West Bank. And so our heart here at our ministry and those that we work with is to let you understand what's going on there, so you'll be a better advocate, a better ambassador for others who do not know. Because if you watch the media, all you hear is about settlements and how they're illegal, and they're just taking land away from the Palestinians, et cetera, et cetera. You hear all sorts of stuff, when in fact that's not true. And this is in alignment with the Oslo Accords, what they're doing, and among other things. And of course, we have another accord we believe. It's called the Bible, and we believe it supersedes any accord that man would create. And the boundaries are set by the Lord, not set by man. And so we're contending as a people to fight for what the Lord says is the land. And you're here tonight to learn about that. Shmuel and I have talked about other ministries and other Christians who do not have a concept of this, not been taught that nor trained that. And I always say it this way: many Christians, Israel's not even on their radar. It's not an issue for them. They're worried about what's happening in their own city, their own life, and they're forgetting the aspect of what the Lord loves, and it's on the Lord's heart. And for me, that's my passion. And so you're the director of development. That's right. And you're fairly new to this organization. I'm right. You're not been there a long time, but he lives in Samaria, so he'll share his story. We had little brochures that we passed out and a map. You'll need that because this is an interactive speech that he's going to speak to us. And so let's welcome all the way from Israel, Shmuel Junger. Come on, Bo. Have your way.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Shalom. Great pleasure to be here. Shreveport, Louisiana. You would ask me 6 months ago, what is Shreveport, Louisiana? Since then, I've been here twice. So for me, Shreveport is a place. I want to first thank you for welcoming me here. I must say that I didn't expect that. Wednesday night Bible study is usually a dark room in the back somewhere, and I'm coming here, and music, and many people, and this circle, that means something about you guys, and it means something about you. The truth is that I'm quite new, almost a year to this organization, and I've met many pastors during this time. I don't think I met somebody so knowledgeable as your pastor. Not generally, I didn't ask him quizzes about everything, about Israel. The reason I'm saying this, other than tell you how great it is because what I'm going to say today, I'm starting the conversation in an advanced level. I don't need to speak today about why do you should care about Israel. I don't need to explain if Israel is a place that Jews belong or it's a place that we took away randomly because whatever. We all agree on that, right? I want to jump in to the deep water of the pool and try to really together get some sense of what's going on. We scheduled this event a while ago. We didn't know what's going to happen. If you open the news in the last days, weeks, you will see on the news two things that happen. One, every day, Gaza, balloons. I'm going to explain this, what it means, the balloons. Burning fields around Gaza. What does it mean? And the second is that unfortunately, there's a new trend that came back. It stopped for a while, but now it's back again. 2 months ago, a guy called Ari Fold was murdered, stabbed in Gush Etzion. And less than a week ago, 2 people were shot to death in Balkan. Israel is going to be in the news at all time. The question is, when you're going to hear the news, what is it going to tell you? What is the subcontext of what they are saying? So we will start, with your permission, because this is a Bible class and I don't want to break what's usually is the tradition, with a small paragraph from the Bible. We can learn together. What do you say? Okay, thank you. One other thing, I'm going to pass around this sign-up sheet because there's so many people. I'm not going to talk that much, 3-4 hours. I hope it's going to get everybody. So please pass it around. This is sign-up sheet for information from our organization. If you want to be knowledgeable, opening the random news is not going to help you. You need to get material and information from what happens there from a people who loves it and lives there. At least that's what I think. So I want to jump right in and try to explain, according to a special story insight in the Bible, why am I even here? Because if you know about Israel, you all agreed you know, I know you know, and if you know what's the story of Judea and Samaria, and I know you know, at least some of it, what's the reason I came all the way from Israel to here? Or I'm going to ask another question. From all the things that I thought to do in my life, why would I come to take part of this? Travel around, arriving to small places or big places, and talk about Israel. In my occupation, I'm a lawyer. I worked many years in education, some of them in Hong Kong. Why did I did this switch of event and arrived here? My name is Shmuel Junger, if I didn't present myself, and Shmuel is the Hebrew way to say Samuel. So because Samuel, I'm going to read something from Samuel, and I'm going to open in chapter 8. Actually, yes, chapter 9. Samuel 1, chapter 9. The story is as follows. So we begin to encounter a very important person who is going to be the king of Israel. His name is Saul. But to be introduced to the story of Saul, the Bible tells us a very side story. Saul is going to be in the story only because he lost something. Remember what I'm talking about. The donkeys. The story, if you don't remember, is the family of Saul lost their donkeys. And now they're looking for the donkeys. So he goes with his servant, walking around, check where they are. The thing is that in that time, they had a prophet. The prophet was Samuel. And they thought that if they're going to ask him, he knows a lot of things. He's the prophet. He might ask God. He might know for himself. So a very minor question, where are the donkeys, is going to be presented. But now, when you read the text, you will find out something quite unique. Many details about how they arrived there. Where did they look? How did they find? What we're going to give him for us to ask him. A lot of details. But then something really shocking strikes me when I read it for the first time. And we have a volunteer today that's going to read a paragraph in English. Jocelyn, thank you. The story that I'm going to just point you out is Saul and his servant are entering the city of Samuel. And now, like every person who arrives to a new town and doesn't use Waze like I do, they didn't have that. No battery in the phone. He had to ask people, how do I arrive to the prophet? So he encounters a bunch of girls who are there to take water from the well, and he asks them this simple question. Where is the prophet? Now, before you read, let's think for a second. If the question here, where is the prophet? The answer is, you know what? I'm not going to ruin it. Please read the answer of the girls.
Yes, there he is. He's just ahead of you. Hurry now, for he came to this city because there's a sacrifice of the city. Because there is a sacrifice of the people today in the high place. As soon as you come into the city, you will surely find him before he goes up to the high place to eat. For the people will not eat until he comes, because he must bless the sacrifice first. Afterward, those who are invited will eat. Now therefore, go up, for this is about the time that you will find him.
What? I've asked a simple question. Thank you very much. Did you notice? This is the longest answer for the most simple question a person can ask. In Israel today, you would ask somebody, how do you get somewhere? He would tell you, go straight and left. That's it. Straight and left. You just read 3 verses with so many words that describe nothing. When he's going to come and the people are going to wait. Then he's going to sacrifice, but not yet. What are you talking about? I've just asked a simple question. Give me the address. Show me. What is this long paragraph for what? Any thoughts, guys? Why do you need to have such a long answer for such a simple question? You can talk. Any ideas? Don't be shy now. Who? Who said that? They weren't from there, so what? So you're telling me that because I asked you where the prophet, you're going to give me a full-on explanation about the culture of the place. Not only where it is, I want to show you what's the tradition, how we do things here. I hear you. I hear you. Let's go with that. Any other opinions? Don't be shy. Where is the brave man he's going to say? Yeah. We always ask that. When you ask a woman a question, enough said. This is a knowledgeable guy right here. Don't know you? Do you have it? Don't broadcast this apart. That's a joke, but it's not. That's half true. You're right. They speak more than a guy would answer, right? A bit more. Thank you for that answer. I would have to bring it myself, but you helped me. Any other opinions, guys? I think these are very good ones. So, yeah? Who's who? Oh, so you're concluding what he said. There's a tradition here. If you're going to do it fast, before he's going to go to the altar, then you can start doing it. Very good point. Very good point. The commentaries and the rabbis gave different opinions. And some of them said along something about, they talked longer. Some of them said there's timing in the world, right? They had to make him wait a few minutes because the encountering between Saul and Samuel was the beginning of his kingdomship. So there's time for anything. Some said that one of the only things we know about Saul was that he was a beautiful person. And some men. We know that the text says they wanted to enjoy. Talk, hang out some, yeah? So where are you from? Let's talk a bit. Interesting opinion. I have a different idea. I think that all of this is good answers, but I think the answer is much, much, much stronger. I would say it this way. Each and every person in this room would answer the same. How come? If you would be asked a question, and your answer is not just an answer that's going to help a person to get to his donkeys or to the prophet. This is an answer that forevermore is going to be a part of the Holy Bible. You are going to say something that actually is going to make the book. Now, would you feel good enough by saying all the way straight and left? 2 words? No way. You will squeeze every moment and try to say words that don't even make sense just because you are going to take a bigger chunk of the cake. You are going to have 3 verses in the Holy Bible. Do you understand what it means? You could have finished like random girls that the answer is going to be go straight and left, and that's it. The story wouldn't change. But when you have an opportunity to be part of something so critical, so crucial, that's going to change everything, you're embracing the moment. And you're taking, and I'm sure they thought, how can we make it so long? They succeeded. They are a crucial part of the story for 3 verses. Agree? The reason I'm here today is because I, throughout my life, wanted to be a bigger part of the story. I wanted to try to touch the crucial elements in life. And what I'm trying to do today is trying to pass it to you. I think the story of what happens in Israel today, especially the story of Judea and Samaria, these are the most crucial elements in the world today. This is not a mistake that it's in the news every day. This is the crucial moment in history, and we are encountering something huge. And I decided that I want to be a part of it. And today, hopefully, you're going to be part of it. So this is only an intro. Now let's dive in. Let's try to jump into the swimming pool. You have booklets, right? Do you have one for me? Here. Okay, guys. Let's open the big booklet. You're going to see a map. This one. Take your time, open it. This is not all of Israel. This is the area we call Judea and Samaria. The news is going to call it the West Bank. You know, I am from a small little place in here. Look at the middle area. There's a place called Kalkilia. Just above it, there's a small place called Tzufim. I am from Tzufim. So now, why am I saying it's such a crucial place? I'm going to say it in a very simple way. In 1948, something happened that made people around the world stop. Every person in 1948 who was alive saw live on the radio, heard about how the state of Israel was declared. David Ben-Gurion stopped there for a second and changed everything. What was so crucial in calling to the state of Israel? Because for the first time in 2,000 years, the people of Israel came back to their land. The Holy Land, the Promised Land. 2,000 years of exile means that after the destruction of the Second Temple, all the people, all the Jewish people who lived in Israel were thrown away. Go to wherever you want. You're not going to be part of this land. But this is the land that was promised to our fathers. Not anymore. 2,000 years you were in exile. I'm not going to go into the history now, but you all know the situation for the Jews in the exile wasn't good. From the Crusaders to the Inquisition to what happened in Europe only 80 years ago, the Holocaust, and every single place around the world where Jewish arrived, their life wasn't easy. Every person with some sense in his mind looked at it and said, they are done. No more Jewish nation. It was a nice run. Brought some very important people to the world, some special moments, but they're not relevant anymore. But then something happened and they came back to their land. Now, for historians and politicians, look at this and said, that's a happy moment for a nation. But something happened for every person who knows something in this book. He knew at that moment that a prophecy was being fulfilled in front of their eyes. In different several places in the Bible, it says over and over again, you're going to be exiled indeed, but I will bring you back. Now it was impossible, really. What are the odds? We had nothing. But then to see it in front of your eyes, this is a miracle coming true. The land of Israel is expecting to receive their sons, their daughters again, from all corners of the globe back to the place where it all started. That was amazing. But it wasn't enough. Because the truth is that every believer in this book knew something is missing. When you read the book and when you read the stories of the Bible, none of them happened in Tel Aviv. When you land, when you travel to Israel, you don't travel to Jerusalem, you travel to Tel Aviv. Nothing happened in Tel Aviv. Every single story that happened in the Bible, every place that something crucial happened, was in a place we call Judea and Samaria. So I want to call it tonight the biblical heartland of Israel. Places starting from the very essence where God has promised it to Abraham. The Jews are reading it this week in the weekly portion. It happened here. Continue. Where Jacob dreamed about the ladder. Happened in Bethel. Here. Now, funny enough, you would go from Jerusalem up and down, north and south, and you will see every single place has the same name, like in the Bible. Walk with me from Jerusalem going up. You will find Ophrah. Who's from Ophrah? Gideon starts in Ophrah. In Bethel is Jacob. You go up, you see Shiloh. Shiloh? Oh, we just read the beginning of the person who's going to come from Shiloh. You go up to Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim, to Joseph Tom, to the Oak of Boreh. This is everything. Go down from Jerusalem. You will see Bethlehem. That sounds familiar. Not in Tel Aviv. You see Hebron. You see Tekoa, where Amos is from. Every single story that happened in the Bible happened in the biblical heartland. Now, it only took 19 years only that we reclaimed the area that we dreamed about. For generations, when Jews prayed for Israel, they didn't pray for Tel Aviv. They prayed to come back to the place that was promised to them, the Holy Land. The place where everything started, the biblical heartland. Before that, Jerusalem, the whole city, the Western Wall. What are we talking about? The very essence of everything. Okay, that's where we start everything that wasn't ours. So we claimed it. And I want to jump back to our time. Only 50 years later. Now you would think, What a moment. We just reclaimed the place that we dreamed of. People are going to come and settle the land. Open communities over communities. They did. In Judea and Samaria today, we have something close to 500,000 people, Jews. Now, if it doesn't sound a big number, take in consideration, all of Israel is 7 million. So 500,000 in 7, it's an amazing number. Every spot in the map is a Jewish community. Life is amazing there. Beautiful communities. When you came to Israel, you saw that. But we have a problem. The problem is that our neighbors don't want us there. See, this is the funny part. Until you're really there, you think that it's like almost we took the land, we put fences, every person who lived there is in a fence, and we're free and alive and having a great time. The truth is almost the opposite. The people who live, the Arabs, the Palestinians who live in Judea and Samaria today, live without any control of Israel. The control Israel has is on the roads, coming in, coming out. Why? Because if we're going to open those roads, what's going to happen? They will leave their place and would come to us to attack us. So it's almost the opposite, I said. We need to have fences. We need to have soldiers and people from every community to come and respond if something happened. Because this is reality. They don't want us there. And they're trying to do everything they can to stop us from living there. So now I'm going to give something new to the world, because I don't think in any place in the world in 2018 there's a bunch of people like the people here. Why? Because when you choose where to live your life, when you get married and you have kids, I think the most important thing is, where can I have a safe community? Where can my kids live in a place that they're going to be secured? Second option is, where can I find a place to work next to my home? The commute time needs to be minimal. Maybe the third will be, I want a place with some businesses, shopping malls, things to do, leisure. The map is on there, and I can tell you something right now. None of those points exist in Judea and Samaria. It is not that secured. If you want to work, you need to travel every day outside to one of the biggest cities. And there's not enough leisure there. There is some, but not enough. So in 2018, 500,000 Jews, why do they decide to live there? What happened then? It's a word, we don't use it enough, but it's called ideology. They believe in something that many believe and support. But while the vast majority of the people are going to sit in their house and support from distance, they're doing something we started with. They want to be part of the story. Like the girls of Seoul, they could have stopped, live wherever they live, and say, it's okay, important, it's good, I support it. But they did something radical. They wanted to be part of the story. They wanted a bigger chunk of the cake. They lived there because they believe with the bottom of their heart, if they're not going to live there, who's going to live there? Now I say they. I live there now, right? Why don't I say we, I? Because I came from outside. I came from Netanya. But the truth is, my wife is one of those. When I met my wife, I knew she lived in Tzufim, in Samaria. What I didn't know was as follows. Her grandmother left leisure life next to Tel Aviv and established the second community in Samaria. Her mother, my mother-in-law, was born and raised in a community in Samaria. My wife did the same. The news is my 3 kids, and the 4th coming very soon, are going to be born and hopefully raised in Samaria. Now, every single person who sits in this area lives a life that is not easy. They can say, it's okay, we're trying, whatever, we believe it's all good. But the truth is, they live there because they believe in the cause. They believe that if they're not going to be there, no one else is going to be there. And they feel for that. I'm representing today an organization called CFOIC, Christian Friends of Israeli Communities. We found out something amazing during the years. Sandra, who established this organization 20 years ago, has been traveling around the world for many years, talking, bringing people, bringing groups, educating. And wherever we go, we found out that people understand something amazing. You know, when you look at Israel today and you love Israel, and you want to say, I want to be a part of it. I want to take a bigger chunk of the cake. I want to be involved. So you think to yourself, how can I be involved? What can I do to be involved? The story that I told you today is not a mystery. It's not something that happened 50, 60 years ago. Pioneers that came and established something new. This is 2018, and the people who live here are pioneers. The people who struggle like the pioneers of America did. Like the pioneers the Olim in Israel did. And it's amazing. Because we live in a society that you're trying to live your life, only improve and improve and improve. But they're trying to do something else. They want to be a bigger part of the story, and they're living their life out of ideology. And they are the modern day pioneers of Israel because they struggle. Now, it's not that every day it's that, but they are limited. I said 3 elements. This is what CFOIC are usually helping with. Support that comes from the world, people who visit, people who send contributions, people who open their heart and their pocket. We help with security. We bring more cameras to the communities. We bring help to the people, the first team that comes and jumps from the community. Right? The army is around us, but if something happens right now, you need to have a first response team. We go and we give them the equipment they need to do whatever they need. Then we said, after security, what do we say? Job. It's one thing to go and travel to your work, but if you're not going to be there at time to take your kids from home, you might consider leave your job. If you're going to consider to leave your job, you might want to move to another place. We want people to live there. You want people to live there. So we're helping with kids and teenagers who need the extra support after hours. And leisure. It's quite sad to tell you, but leisure for them is just another playground. Another playground changes everything. When God blesses you with 1, 2, 3, 4 kids, 10 families, 50, 60, 70 kids, small community, they don't have a playground. What do they do after hours? A community that receives a playground honestly, it's a bit funny to talk about it because we never think what is a playground for kids. This is everything. They don't need a shopping mall. They need a small playground. And people from around the world come and support this cause. I started with a story about how we or those people wanted to be a bigger part of the story. I want to finish up with something that changed my perspective about it. But before that, I want to open the time for question and answer. Anyone has a question right now? So all clear? Something. Yes, sir. By the way, where is the signing chart? It went? Oh, amazing. Yes, sir. They didn't get it. Yes.
Organizationally, do you interact with the Palestinian communities?
The answer is we have life is a constant, work together with the Palestinians. What do I mean? I mean that when you live there, you understand that although what the news is going to tell you, reality is as follows. The Palestinians work in our communities. They work there. The terror attack I told you about in the beginning of this talk, 2 people were murdered. Where did they murder? In Balkan. What happened in the Balkan? Balkan is an industrial area. Huge one. Palestinians and Jews, Israelis, work together. All the time. Not something random. Every day. All the factories in Judea and Samaria are working together, coexist. Palestinians and Jews alike. Now, you know what's the problem? Every time somebody wakes up in the morning, takes a machine gun, and shoots 2 of his co-workers. Now what's going to be the next time? You know how hard it's going to rebuild the trust after what this kid did a week ago? They are together all the time. I'm going and am I using services? I'm buying from them. They need us. We need them. Reality is that you're going to ask any Palestinian who live here, do you prefer to move to any other country in the Middle East, Arab country? 21 they have. Syria? I'm going to skip. Lebanon, maybe. No, thank you. Jordan, Egypt, something. Nothing. Israel. After all the CNN and all the news and all the refugee crisis, this is the best place for them. That's my answer about Palestinians.
Do you encounter any resistance from Palestinians that affects you organizationally?
So the resistance is what we're talking about resistance to us. The average Palestinian, that's my perspective, doesn't want anything but have money, sponsor his family, live life. They need 1% of people, use the term that Golda Meir used, that hate us more than they love their kids. This 1% who are willing to be terrorists, to sacrifice their life, to kill me and my family, that's enough to make our life not easy. And the truth is, this is something that happens all the time. I don't need to remind you, I don't want to bring bad memories, but every time I travel the road and I remember, here there was a gunshot, here over there, here my friend, there my neighbor. This is ongoing, all the time. I'll tell you something. Ari Fold, Google this name tonight. He was a big activist for Israel. Videos, YouTube, all the time. a month ago, walked in the shopping mall of Gush Etzion. Gush Etzion, if you want to see it, here, it's just under Bethlehem, next to Kfar Etzion. We talked about coexistent. This is an example for coexistent. You go to the shopping mall, Arabs, Palestinians, and Israeli together. You're in a coffee shop together. The funny is, the settlers, the people who live there, we are portrayed as somebody who hates Arabs. The truth is, we are with them more than the people of Tel Aviv. We lived with them. So the shopping mall in Gush Etzion, a place of coexistence. That same morning, I was supposed to be there. I swear. I had a meeting there at 9 o'clock. At 2 o'clock in the morning, my friend sends me, I cannot be there. So I started the day in Jerusalem at 10. 9 o'clock. Ari walks there. 19 years old kid. Comes to the falafel lady. The girl who sells falafel, Israelis fast food. She asks him, do you know English? She says, what? Do you speak English? That's what the Arabs ask the falafel lady. She says, no, she's Russian. No, I don't speak. No thanks. Goes outside, see Ari fold, stabbed him. Killed the guy. 4 kids they left. You asked if they trying to, what's the word you used? What's the word you use if they resist? That's the resistance. The fact that they have ongoing attempts to stop our lives over there. And they're trying and trying and trying again. The news is we're there for stay. And we're there, and everything that we're trying to do is support us to make us live there more and more. And there's more communities and more families and more houses, and we're growing. That's the news. 500,000 Jews today. Anything else? Yes, sir.
Do you have hope that it'll get better, or do you think it's going to continue to be a repetition of how it is?
Although my name is Samuel, I'm not a prophet. I can tell you this. The single most hard moment I had in my life, was some, I want to say 13 years ago, 15, maybe more, that the government of Israel decided to do something very unique. In Israel, if you will see, let's open the small maps because it's important. Go to page 16, map number 8. Judea and Samaria was part, there was an expression, Yehuda v'Shomron v'Chevel Aza. If you would see on the corner here, you see Gaza. You see? There were Jews who lived in Gaza, not in the city of Gaza, in the strip of Gaza. A beautiful area called Gush Katif. Communities over communities, people, I had friends there who lived on the beach. Amazing area. They managed to grow there things that people didn't believe. Prime Minister of Israel, Ariel Sharon, decided something that nobody believed. Nobody believed it. For the first time in history, a Jewish army is going to evacuate Jewish people from their houses. I was a soldier at that time. My friends were sent to the north of the Shomron. People don't remember that, but other than Gaza, there were 3-4 communities up next to Jenin that were evacuated. I couldn't believe what I saw with my eyes. Do you remember the sights? Soldiers, police officers with a big flag sign of Israel removed people from their houses. And did you ever understood the fact it could be their nephew, their cousin, their best friend? People know people. My friends were evacuated from that area. Devastating. Now, as a Jewish nation, we always have hope. We had hope. You ruined the life of the people of Gush Katif. At least, there's going to be a good result. Now we're going to have peace. Now everything is going to be quiet. I remember they claimed Gaza is going to be the next Singapore. Billions of dollars were given to them. Cement to build a new city. You're going to be Singapore. What a hope. Everybody remembers what happened with this money. This is one example you need to remember from the history of Israel. This is what happens now. They build an amazing underground city. Not for subway. Nothing. To have a better way to send missiles. Or, let's be more advanced than that. To jump from a tunnel in the middle of a kibbutz, dig under the ground, jump inside of kibbutz, shoot at everybody, come back to Gaza safe. Great job. An underground city from the money that was given to them by Europe, by the US also. Help them, support them, because they need to have a new way of life. Because until now it was awful, we were there. Now the future is bright and awesome. I think, and you know what? That's what I believe in. That if after what happened then, there's not even one single person in Israel who believes that if one day this region is going to be evacuated, I would say very simple, there's not going to be a spot in Israel that's going to be secured. Missiles are going to be thrown on every city in Israel. Look at the map. There's not going to be a single spot in here that's going to be secured. Now with Gaza, we are paying the cost till this day. There's an expression, till this day. Not an expression, literally this day. Last night, a missile shot straight into the house. The house is ruined. Now I want just to make it, maybe it's not clear. They're shooting missiles 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 times at a night. Every time a missile is being thrown, you hear an alarm. Now I'm asking you, how many times can you stop sleeping, wake up, take your kids to the shelter? Maybe once a night, twice a night, 3 times a night. Thank God this lady yesterday, after it happened several times, she took their kids to the shelter. If not, we had casualties today. The situation in Gaza and in Gush Katif showed us an example of what could happen if we're going to give up more land, more territory. You mentioned the Oslo Accords. We remember what happened. They wanted to have peace, so we're going to give them, of course, they need to have police officers now. So take a machine gun, because you're a police officer right now. Not long after, they used the same gun we gave them, shooting at us. That's reality. Now you ask me if there's hope. I'm not a politician, I'm not a prophet, but I can tell you this. If we understand right now how important security in Israel is, and with what happens in the US today with the president, I think they are going to have different ways and approaches to look at the territories and the area, which is not going to include us evacuating ourselves from there. That's my answer. That's my hope also. Yes, sir. How are we with the time? Just
okay. That brings up the question that I was having in the current political talk. We're hearing about a two-state situation, and I was wondering, how did that affect all of Judea and Samaria, or some part, or just do you have any idea what that talk means? And secondly, some of the brokering, it seems to me, just my perspective, have some American Jewish input, or is there some political support by some of the Jewish community for this two-state plan?
I'm going to answer the second question first, because it's easier. Sure, yes. Of course. The Jewish community in the States, not necessarily, or I would say necessarily, is very liberal, very open to solutions that were given by your former president and many more. So, second question, obviously, yes. What is the two-state solution, and how does it going to, change the region? It's quite simple. Basically, it says that they're going to have two states. They're going to have a state in this region, Judea and Samaria, and we're going to have a state in the region that, the small area which is not in there. Now they have different solutions. So we're not going to evacuate all the communities. We're going to take a few, and few we're going to evacuate. Many different approaches, but it's all coming to one thing. Communities in the biblical heartland of Israel are going to be taken from here, like happened in Gush Katif, and we're going to be thrown here somewhere. Why this process is going to be insane? Because if there's something small that we can do today, is at least, and you see from the colors, we control in between. The fact that we control in between lets us at least some power. If bigger regions are going to be under full control, they're going to build a new underground city. Simple. They have the abilities today. We see it all the time. To open a tunnel, throw a missile, close the tunnel. There's no chance that you can even reveal where it's coming from. That's the way they live today in Gaza. We would need to be crazy to even consider to do that here. Because it's important to understand, from Tel Aviv to the Jordan Valley, go all the way to the other side, Gittit. How long do you think it's going to take driving? How long? An hour? 55 minutes? An hour and 5 minutes? This is how wide Israel is. Or not wide. It's not an option. At least the way I see it. If we want to secure our land, there's not a real chance to give up more territory that's going to put us in risk. We did the mistake in Gush Katif and in Gaza. And it strikes us till this day. Just a small example. Do you understand the story of the balloons? Truly, it's remarkable. They take a balloon, okay, with helium that flies, small candle. They're in Gaza. They're waiting for some wind. They throw it. It's over the fence. And it burns another field in Israel. A couple of months ago, they sent a bird with a bomb in his leg. This is how the distance is not a distance. We are neighbors. And when your neighbor wants to make your life miserable, he will succeed. Some of you are nodding like, oh, I know this neighbor.
In 1948, or at least I've read that, and I need clarification on this, but that there weren't many Palestinian people living in what we would call Israel, and that many moved in there after occupation of the territory occurred. Is that correct, or?
The details are as follow. The area of Judea and Samaria was under the control of Jordan. That was a no-man land, basically. Jordan claimed that they have some kind of security issues over there. The people who lived in that region were never Palestinians, because the term Palestinians only started when maybe the UN wanted to call the people who left the area. They opened a refugee program from them. It's called UNRWA. Now it's interesting. All of the refugee people in the world, right? It's not the only place with a civil situation. All of the refugees are in one organization. There's another organization for only the Palestinians. If you were a refugee, let's say you were a refugee in that time, your son and grandson and grand-grandson are still going to be counted as refugees. They're going to be part of UNRWA. How come? But I left 70 years ago. Never mind, you're still a refugee. This territory, which was under control of Jordan, but this is what we call a territory in dispute. It is not clear who stayed there, but there's one thing which is clear. Palestinians weren't there. The word Palestinians wasn't relevant. Palestine was the name of the whole territory that was at that time under the mandate of the Brits. My grandmother, she is a Palestinian. She was born in Israel before 48. She is Palestinian because she was born in the territory of the mandate that was called Palestine. The claim that we have a nation called the Palestinians and all of this, it is just factually not true. All the organization, the PLO, started much, much, much later when they wanted to gain political power on the region, when they understood they could negotiate themselves coming from this statement, we are a nation, we are Palestinians.
Let me ask you this, Shmuel. With UN saying that you're illegally there, you're occupying territory that's not yours, what organization or what people groups in the world are your best friends or your biggest supporters that you have for what is going on in the Samaria and Judea?
We have two big supporters. One are obviously Jews, most of them Orthodox, who believe in this book. They read the book, they know the Bible, they know it. It's clear to them. We return to the biblical heartland. Simple. And we have someone else. Sounds almost the same. They believe in this book. They heard the book. They read. they believe that we came back to the biblical heartland. You know them?
Yeah.
You heard of them?
Yeah.
We're sitting with a few of their best right here. That is the truth. You asked before, the people who are against us are exactly the people who are against this. That's simple. Anything else, guys?
What countries do you feel like are your biggest supporters?
It's individuals. Countries are not relevant, right? We have a lot of supporters in the U.S., but it's not because of the country or the president, it's because of people. We have supporters in Europe also. Just as example, the Netherlands, many supporters. Don't know why, they are. Singapore, mentioned Singapore, Australia, all around the world. There's not even a country we can say we don't have supporters. Everywhere.
That's good. So it's a remnant of people around the world that are just being a part of sowing into the land.
And I think more and more can join this. I think there's so many people who never heard of anything we just spoke tonight. What do we do with that? How can we bring the message for everybody?
So why don't you tell us how we can help tonight?
So I want to finish with a story and then I'm going to wrap things. No, I'm going to take you a few minutes. I want to say this. You asked before about hope, and I mentioned Gush Katif, and I mentioned Gaza. So I want to bring you back now at time, something around 2010. I'm not good with years, you noticed. And the story is as follows. Like every couple of years, missiles are being thrown to Israel. And it takes time until the prime minister says, okay, let's stop it. Let's do an operation in Gaza. Now, a regular operation means you take, groups from the army and you send them in. But in Israel, there's something else. When you're finishing the army, every person in Israel goes 3 years to the army, mandatory. It's not finished. You are being able to call to reserves unit, which is basically a civilian, you, me, who is being called. You need to come tomorrow. You put your uniform that you fold very nice in the closet, and you're a soldier once again. That's insane, but it's something that happens in Israel. Now, when you're being drafted as a reserved unit, you know that is a very serious situation. Because you understand they're not going to call reserved units unless it's going to be something big. When we know reserved units are coming, these are major wars. Saturday night, 2018, I want to say December, I receive a phone call. It's a machine operation that says, you were drafted. Come to the place you know where, and we're going to take you from there. Tomorrow at 6. Wow, scary. That's going to be a war. We're going to go to Gaza. In the news, we heard of the tunnels. They were waiting to kidnap a soldier. That was their goal. And we're getting ready, and I'm taking my stuff. And I'm going there 6 o'clock in the morning, in the point I need to be. And you see people with faces. Their life just was stopped. Students, people who work, their wife is pregnant, anything. There's no issues here. Everybody comes. This is serious time now. So lovely children from different schools who already got the news that's going to happen, prepared like boxes of snacks and candies with a small letter, enjoy, feel well, whatever they gave us. We went on the buses. Faces were, that was a hard moment. We arrived to Gaza, not Gaza, but outside in an army base, and we began to train. Now, usually you train with your friends that you trained with 3 years. You know them, they know you, it's all well. But in reserve, in wartime, they put people together and you need to train. So after a couple of hours of training, basically they told us, prepare your gear. Now, I'm in a field intelligence unit. Field intelligence are people who collect intelligence from the field. They need to be the first people in, because they need to gather the intelligence to bring the other troops. So we understood we are going there first. And we're ready there with our bags. And our commander tells us and say, take your phone calls, your phones, and use them, and we need to take them. Because today, they know where you are when you hold your phone. In 2010, it was the same. So you need to give us the phone, use it. This is your last call. They didn't use last call, but that's what we felt. That's a very serious moment. So people call their wife. If you're not married, like I wasn't, you're thinking, no wife, no life, what am I? Scary moment. No pressure there. And then the commander comes and say, okay, guys, outside. Bring your gear, stand outside. So everybody is going outside, and then I noticed in the tent, on his bed, one of my team members. And he's sitting there, looking at something which was thin air. And you saw a very intense moment, a very intense sight. He was afraid. I came to him, I said to him, Moshe, come, need to go. He says, Are you okay? You feel well? Moshe, we need to go. He turns to me and says, Shmuel, I'm sorry, I'm not going to join you today. Oh, everything is okay. What happened? You don't feel well? You're sick? Something happened? He says, no. See, I'm a mathematician. That's what I do. It's my day job. I have a PhD. I teach in university statistics. And I did the math, he tells me. We are 12 people. We never train together. There's no chance we will survive this. There are thousands of people there, ready terrorists to kidnap us. There's no chance we're getting in and getting out. Therefore, my friend, I'm not going to be joining you today. Can you hear that? I say, okay, Moshe, Nechmad, very nice, funny. Yalla, trying first of all not to make a big deal of it. Okay, understand. You gave me this nice, statistics or whatever. Let's go. He says, no, you didn't understand. I am not joining you. Okay, now it becomes serious. I thought it's a joke. I thought, whatever. So now the process of what do I do now? And the first thing I tell him, I said, Moshe, everybody is afraid. Come, we need to do it together. Leave me alone. Second, I don't have a problem, Moshe. Honestly, I don't need you. But the commander is just going to hear you refused. You're going to jail. When you refuse a command, you're going to jail. It's simple. He says, do you think I'm scared right now from jail? I'm just telling you, I'm not going to come back from combat. I'm going to survive 1, 2, 3 weeks in jail. I'm done. Now it's serious, huh? What do you answer him? I need to give him some blame. Moshe, we trusted you. We worked together as a group. If you're not coming, do you know what they're going to feel? We're going to go there feeling extra scared because of you. Then we're going to be really weak because you made it. He looks at me and says, Shmuel, you don't understand. You can leave now. I'm not going to come. Extra nudge. Listen to this, Moshe. I didn't say the whole introduction, telling you. Every year, there's a memorial day for soldiers in Israel. God forbid, when a soldier dies in his service, his family is receiving a song in his memory. A big singer, songwriter in Israel writes a song in his memory. I told them, Moshe, I'm using my phone once again. I'm texting my parents. I want the name, the title of the song be, Moshe, why did you kill me? Because you need to know that's because of you. If something's going to happen to us, it's because of you, Moshe. Looks at me, Shmuel. Okay, you did enough. I'm very sorry. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want you to be dead. But I'm not coming. Do with it whatever you want. I'm not coming. So I began to go, and my natural instinct would be to go to the commander. I'm not even his commander. I was a friend. What would you say? What would you do? I tried, reasoning, making feel bad. What do you do? And open it a question. Really? Somebody wants to say something? So somebody once told me, tell him that God is going to help him. That's a right answer here. Moshe doesn't care. Doesn't believe. Not relevant. As I was beginning to go to outside of the tent, I noticed that the top of the bag was open. From it, all the soldiers, we put inside the small bags of snacks from the beginning of the bus when we just went. Inside the bag, there was a letter. This is the actual letter. And it says as follows. Tal Mendelbaum, that's the name of the kid. Gimel Echad, 3rd grade, Nov. Can you notice? It's a kid's handwriting. That's what the kid says. Dear soldier, come back to your parents and your kids, bריאים ושלמים, self and sound. ואל תוותרו ואל תתייאשו. And don't give up and don't be despaired. כי אתם יותר חזקים מעזה. Because you are stronger than Gaza. ושיהיה לכם מתוק, and for you to have some sweet. כמה ופלים, some waffles. הצבא שלנו הכי טוב. Our army is the best. ועזה לא תנצח. And Gaza won't win. אנחנו איתכם, תהיו חזקים. We are with you, be strong. I told my friend Moshe, I'm not good at numbers. No statistics in here. But I can tell you this. The math you did with the 12 soldiers is completely wrong. This is not 12 soldiers against Gaza. We're talking about hundreds and thousands and millions of people who are supporting you and are behind you and are pushing you forward. You are only a chain, a piece of the chain. Do you want to be a part of the story? Take a bigger part of the story, a bigger chunk of the cake. Moshe, we're going to win with you or without you. People are waiting for you to be strong and courageous. You know what I know now, I didn't know then. These are not only the people of Israel. These are good people like you guys and others around the world who support Israel and support Moshe. Support me. Moshe stood and came with us. We survived. My friends, I came for you today to embrace the opportunity to be and to take a bigger part of the story. Judea and Samaria indeed is the biblical heartland of Israel. This what counts the most. You know it counts the most because everybody else is against it. When you need somebody to be there, the people of Judea and Samaria volunteer to live there because they live there because of ideology. I encourage you today to support them. I encourage you today to open your heart in blessing, but also in deeds. Help those people strive. Help the land of Israel. Help the promised land. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, this is our chance. I thought when you just said that about, you told Moshe that, whether he goes or not, they're going to be victorious. I thought about Esther. She was given the same opportunity to save Jews. And, Mordecai said, whether you do it or not, they're going to be saved. And Esther had a chance to be a bigger part of the story. And she is a bigger part of the story. We read about her in there. Had she not, we would be reading about somebody else. And you have a choice to have your name written, or we'll read about somebody else, because somebody's going to help. Because God has put it on many people's heart to help, and we're some of those. And so I want to be a part of that, don't you? I do. And so tonight we're going to do an offering for this. If you want to write your check, just make it a CFOIC, Christian Friends of Israeli Communities. All right. If you and if you want to give cash, if you want to do this, there's cards here. I think they're over there on the table. If you want to do that, or it's inside your envelope there. Okay. In your thing. If you want to do credit card, you can do it right there. The church, I don't have my bookkeeper tonight, but we're going to write a check and send you guys a check from the church as well. So I want to support, even as our ministry, to do that. So let's stand up. Thank you. Thank you, Shmuel. Isn't that awesome? Wasn't that good? I don't know that we've always looked at it as this is the biblical land, the heartland, that way. And I think we should look at it that way. And I always say this, if it's something good, there will always be a war over it. So we see that the war is about that land. We just have our baskets here, so we'll just close with that. You can come and we'll close in prayer here, and just bless our brother. And he's our older brother. You know what that means? Our salvation comes from the Jews, and he represents the older brother, and we want to make sure that we honor our brothers that way. And this is one way we can do it tonight. So, Father, we thank you for this word, this understanding that we received tonight of your heart for the heartland. And we ask that, Lord, that as we support it, and just in a deed here of finances, but let us also sow with our heart of prayer and support and our message, that we become a messenger for this. And we want to be like Esther. We want our name to be a bigger part of the story. And we want to say that we played a role in that, and we sowed into it as well. We pray for the communities that are in Judea and Samaria. Strengthen them, Lord. Strengthen them in this hour to realize that they are fulfilling a biblical mandate, and that you are with them, and there are others around the world that are with them. And we ask that they experience that, and they experience the presence of Almighty God in the land, that he would touch their hearts and tell them the truth about what they're doing. And so tonight as we sow with a grateful heart. Thank you for our brother. We bless him. We bless his family, his new child that's on the way. And Lord, thank you that he's being fruitful and multiplying and fulfilling the mandate of what Abraham was given. And we just want to honor him tonight. We thank you for it. In your name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right. Bless you. Give your offering. If you have any questions for Shmuel, you can still talk to him. There's anything else, you can take those brochures we gave you. Those are for you. And we'll see you guys Saturday if you're just drop the cards in there. If you did your credit card, just drop it in there, and we'll give that all to them. All right? Bless you guys.